It's all about love, marriage, and parenting. This is Happy Family Series with Pastor Vicky Edeke. Hi everyone, welcome to Happy Family Series with Pastor Vicky Edeke, and I am your host. And if you're new here and you're wondering what Happy Family Series is all about, it's a podcast where we talk about love, we talk about marriage, relationships, parenting, everything you need to know to have a happy family. And yes, it is possible to have a happy family, although marriages are crashing, although family lives of people, it's nothing to write home about. I'm here to let you know that it is possible to have a very happy family. Yes, you can enjoy your family life. All right, and today I'll be looking at the topic that I call Is Love Enough? Is love enough? People ask that question. What holds a marriage? Is love enough to hold a marriage? You can attest to the fact that you might have seen people that were deeply in love with each other. They couldn't get their hands off each other. They were always seen together, going out together, doing things together, and eventually they decided to get married. And 1-2 years down the line, the marriage ended in a divorce. And the question people ask most times is, didn't they love each other? It's actually shocking, I must say, because a lot of people can't seem to understand how two people will be so much in love, and 1-2 years down the line, the marriage will come down crashing like a pack of cards. And you're wondering, is love really enough? So why should I get married to this person? If I love him, if I love her, is that enough? I want to explain something. Love is one of the most abused word in the English dictionary, if not the most abused in the English dictionary. When somebody wants to take advantage of you, the person says, I love you. When somebody is toxic and wants to deal with you, he says, I love you. I'm doing this because I love you. I want to correct you. A lot of people don't really understand what love is, and your upbringing, your exposure has a way of defining what love means to you. All right, so what exactly is love? And I've told us oftentimes in this podcast that when a good is produced by a manufacturer will usually put a manual in the pack of that product to guide you on how to operate that product. So when God created the marriage union, he gave us a manual, which is the Bible. And if you want to do marriage and parenting and family life outside the Bible, you might be making a huge mistake. All right, so is love enough? We need to understand what love is from God's perspective, because we have given love our own definition, and it's actually not right. There are different kinds of love actually, and it will help us understand the kind of love that we're talking about. There's the kind of love we call eros, which is passionate love, deep, passionate, romantic love. That is the type of love we call having butterflies in your tummy. When you love someone, you have those feelings of love. You see the person, the butterflies in your tummy, you can't compose yourself. That is eros. It's passionate, it's romantic. There's what we call philia, or some people call it philios. It's the kind of love that has to do with deep friendship, that kind of friend that sticks closer than a brother. You can have a friend, I don't know if you have people like that, a friend that is very close to you, share a very deep bond of friendship. You can do anything for your friend. That is philia. Then there is agape love, although there are more than 3, but I'm going to major on these 3. There is agape love, which is selfless love, which is actually the God kind of love, the kind of love that has no strings attached to it, that is selfless, that is unconditional. That is agape love. I want to read something to us. 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7. I'm going to read it in the NLT. That's the New Living Translation. And it says, love is patient and kind. Love is not jealous or boastful or proud or rude. Love does not demand its own way. Love is not irritable, and it keeps no record of when it has been wronged. It is never glad about injustice, but rejoices whenever the truth wins out. Love never gives up, never loses faith, is always hopeful, and endures through every circumstance. Love will last forever. Alright, so I'll stop there. From these definitions of love, the Bible is trying to explain to us what love is. You can see that love is not something that is passive. Love is an action word. You know, there is what we call the feelings of love, and there's what we call actions of love. What a lot of people in our time call love is actually the feeling of love. That is what they call love. So when they say I love you, they're trying to say that I feel something for you. I'm attracted to you. I have butterflies in my tummy when I think about you. That is what they call love, and that is a feeling. Feelings are fickle. Emotions are ever changing. If I want you to feel emotional about me, all I need to do is to give you my undivided attention and probably, get you gifts. We'll communicate regularly. If I talk to you from maybe like 3 hours a day or 4 hours every day, and I'm dedicated to it, and I listen to you, and then I get gifts for you, I make you feel special. You begin to feel a certain form of love for me. That is what people call love. It's changing. It's ever changing. It changes. All right. So the feelings of love change. And when people get married, because I feel something for you, I feel something for you, I have this feeling of love for you, it cannot hold a marriage. And I repeat, it cannot hold a marriage. And some people call it the honeymoon phase of marriage. Some researchers, marriage scholars, will call it the honeymoon stage of marriage. It lasts for like the first 2 years of marriage. Some people that during the courtship stage or relationship stage, they couldn't get their hands off each other. After 2 years, 1 year, 2 years of marriage, they begin to fight. They can't see eye to eye on issues. They begin to fight, they begin to quarrel. And you wonder, didn't they love each other? That was just the feeling of love. Love is beyond feelings. Love is a commitment. Yes, if you commit to someone, the feelings should also be there. But the feelings of love is one thing, then the actions of love is another thing. From the Bible, we can see that love is action. It's your daily decisions, the decisions you make every day. Now look at love is patient and kind. When you are married to your spouse and your spouse makes mistake, are you patient? Are you kind towards your spouse? There are people that are kind to every other person out there, and they are not kind to their spouses. I've seen people like that. I was with one the other day, and I know him at home. Oh my, he's the lion of the tribe of Judah. You know what I mean? He's a lion. His children are afraid of him. His wife is afraid of him. But I saw him, gisting with some people out there. He was some women, and he was joking, and they were laughing. Even when he stepped out of the place, they were like, oh my God, this man's wife is enjoying. This man is nice. And in my mind, I shook my head. I was like, oh, if only you knew. There are people like that are kind to outsiders, but they are not kind to their family members. That is not love. Love is patient. Love is kind. Are you patient? Love is not jealous or boastful or proud. It baffles me when some men are arrogant and boastful to their wives and proud. Like Without me, you are nothing. I sponsor everything. I pay the bills here. You can't do this. You can't talk to me anyhow. You can't do this and all of that. And then you are talking the woman that, well, let me not limit it to men, because some women are like that these days, especially when the woman is earning more. There are some women that begin to talk down on their husbands. They become boastful, they become proud. That is not the characteristics of love. Love is not rude. Now, there's a thin line between being rude and speaking your mind. Some people say things like, I'm very blunt, I say my mind. You can say what is on your mind without being rude. Love does not demand its way. You want it to be done your way every time. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you compromise. Love is not irritable. Are you edgy, easily angered? That is not love. Love does not keep record of when it has been wronged. There are some people that have their journal where they write things when their spouses offend them. They write it and they remember 20 years ago, 1990, this, you did this to me. That is not love. Love does not rejoice at injustice. When something is going wrong with your spouse, you don't rejoice. And it endures through every circumstance. Is your love a conditional love, that when your spouse has money, when things are going well, you are so in love with your spouse, and when things are not going well with the business, you are not in love with your spouse anymore? You can't endure. Now, verse 8 says that love will last forever. So that means if you have the God kind of love, it shouldn't even result to divorce. It lasts forever. But when people are saying irreconcilable differences, we can't do this, we can't stay together, it's because they are not walking in the God kind of love. The Bible says that it is because of the hardness of the heart. Divorce is because of the hardness of the heart. It's not to make light of people's experiences, but if both parties have tender hearts towards God and towards each other and are open to correction and rebuke from the word of God, you see that there is no situation that cannot be fixed. So back to my question, is love enough? The feelings of love is not enough, but the God kind of love is enough. If what you are experiencing rather is not what has been listed here in the Bible, then you need to evaluate. You need to evaluate. The God kind of love is enough. It is patient. What will your spouse do to you that you can't forgive? If you are patient towards your spouse, you give room. There's something my husband calls advanced forgiveness. You just create room in your heart, and you know that this person might offend me, but I'm going to forgive him, I'm going to forgive her. That is the God kind of love. That is what the Bible is talking about. So the God kind of love is enough, but feelings of love, conditional love, or what we call love is fickle. It is not enough. So you need to choose what kind of love are you experiencing. All right. Thank you for listening, and I hope it blessed you. I would love to hear from you, and if you have questions or topics you would want me to talk about, you can reach out to me on WhatsApp. My WhatsApp number is 08026254175. I'll repeat that, 08026254175. That's my WhatsApp number. You can reach out to me via email, askvickieedeke@gmail.com. Vicky is VICKIE, Edeke is EDEKE, and my name is Vicky Edeke across all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, AudioMark, X, TikTok, and what other platform? Just search for Vicky Edeke. You will be able to get me. All right, and my ebook is out on selar.com/Vicky Edeke, and I hope all my materials will bless you, and I know they will bless you. All right, so thank you for listening. Till I come your way again next week. Bye.